Welcome everybody back to Lucha Lore, where I explain to you, and to all of you, the stories of wrestling. We're back with Lucha Underground, Season 3 this time.
Woo!
So, if you remember, back from Season 2, Matanza Cueto, the big monster guy...
Oh wait, he was the one who was held in the basement?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, the big monster held in the basement, tortured his whole life, and turned into a killing machine.
Yes.
Was the champion through most of the season. Was the champion at the end of the season. So at the beginning of Season 3, we have the Dial of Doom. So Dario invents this thing. It's just a big dial with the faces of every single luchador in... Yes?
Like a clock dial?
Like a big clock dial. So like a big Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Oh,
And then he spins that wheel every week. And then the lucky or unlucky person gets to challenge Matanza for the title, which basically also means Matanza kills you.
Oh, shit. Like for real? Like your character is dead?
No, like he just basically beats the shit out of you to the point where you're like gonna be out for a couple of weeks.
Okay. I just feel like I have to clarify, because in the show, people die and then people die, and so...
Yeah, death is a real tricky one in Lucha Underground, for sure.
Okay, so you just die, but you don't die.
Yeah, you just get your ass kicked. Like, some of these people, like, just pretty much never come back, so they're kind of, like, effectively dead.
Oh, okay.
But they're very, very minor side characters.
Okay.
Nobody really important dies from this phase of stuff. Later on, there's another sequence of, like, Matanza just killing people, and they actually die.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But anyway, so this is the Dial of Doom.
Uh-huh.
This is just Doom. Not quite death yet. Doom. Just Doom.
Okay.
So Matanza is dooming people all over the temple. But the other really big thing that happens real quick in the beginning of the season here is the Weapons of Mass Destruction match. So do you remember who Marty the Moth is? He's kind of that crazy guy.
I know he was part of the Moth tribe.
Yes, part of the Moth tribe.
And that's all I got.
Okay, well he's also a crazy guy. He's also got a lot of money and connections, and he's also got a crazy sister. Back last season they were like torturing Sexy Star, but eventually at the end of the season she was able to overcome and defeat them.
Right.
But yeah, he's got this like nasty incestuous relationship thing going on with his sister. Which actually, you know what? Brings me to this. We should talk about this really quickly.
Oh, okay.
This is what I would like to call the web of love. Because the relationships in Lucha Underground get even more complicated in Season 3. And I thought it'd be really important to address kind of the web of connections.
Okay.
So, really at the center of it all is Katrina.
And she is the enchantress lady who brings people back from the dead and stuff?
She's the death priest. Or death priestess.
Okay.
And so she has been like undead for thousands of years. She's doing all sorts of shenanigans. And her main person that she's got right now is Mil Muertes, the undead guy of 1,000 deaths. So he is very kind of like subservient to her. So he's got a connection to her, but she doesn't really care about him. As we've seen a couple times, she sort of turned on him, used him and whatnot. But she definitely is into Phoenix, who we remember, like, we sort of discovered.
Right, because he and the other guy were, like, rival undead dudes, and Phoenix killed Mil Muertes that one time, and then Mil Muertes came back, and then killed Phoenix, and then Phoenix came back.
Yes.
Okay.
I imagine...
Man, I can't believe I have all this in my brain.
Kudos to you. So that's going on. But obviously Phoenix doesn't have feelings for Katrina. He's, upset by this whole thing. But now we've got another person who comes into this temple in this season, which I'll get more into him a little bit here in the Old Flame section, but Jeremiah Crane is a new boyfriend for Ivelisse.
Oh, okay.
You remember who Ivelisse is? Kind of like the tough Puerto Rican chick. She was the trios champion girl.
Was she the other one in that weird love triangle thing?
Yeah, but Son of Havoc, the biker guy, and
the unlikely trio. They didn't like each other.
Yes.
That part I don't really remember, but I recognize that name. Okay.
Yeah, so she gets a new boyfriend this season. This kind of grungy-looking dude, Jeremiah Crane, who they're together very, very shortly. Very quickly, they end up kind of breaking up. Ivelisse is just sort of fed up with Crane because he's just kind of like an idiot. But he's also very infatuated with Katrina. And we don't really know why exactly, but he's like just got eyes for her and doesn't even give a shit about Ivelisse anymore. So they break up and he's just like, whatever.
Okay.
I'm going after Katrina. So this gets even more complicated by the fact that Phoenix is in a very like consensual semi-committed relationship with Melissa Santos, who is the ring announcer.
Oh, okay.
So she and Phoenix, they're hitting off. They're having a great time. But then Marty the Moth, creepy guy, he stalking Melissa he constantly tries to get up in her business and is trying to pet her when she's announcing him and trying to lick her, real gross shit.
Creep.
Yeah. And then Marty the Moth and Mariposa, the brother-sister combo, they've got a little bit of a
Lannister thing
exactly.
going on.
A little bit of a Lannister love going on there. It's kind of gross. So that's the relationship landscape.
Oh dear. Okay.
Of Lucha Underground. There's also a lot of other one-offs.
Yep.
But these are the interwoven relationships.
Okay.
Now, getting back to the weapons of mass destruction, because Marty the Moth, last season, he pissed off a dude named Killshot. Killshot is a soldier who we learned a little bit more of his backstory, that he used to have some sort of squadron of guys that he used to fight with, and they all died for some sort of mysterious reason. He's the only one that survived, so he's got all their dog tags.
Maybe he probably killed them?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe we'll find out later. Anyway, so he's got all their dog tags and stuff like that, and Marty the Moth stole them.
Oh.
Like a real fucking douchebag.
Way to be a douche.
So the Weapons of Mass Destruction match is Killshot coming back and saying, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. Give me the dog tags back."
Okay.
So he comes after Marty the Moth with a vengeance. And he just destroys him real early in the season. So Marty the Moth is out for a little while.
Rip his wings off.
And in this kind of void, who should come in but then an old comrade of Killshot. Some guy who just sort of attacks him, and he's got some military clothes on. We're like, who the fuck is this guy? And eventually we find out that this is Dante Fox, or AR Fox, as he's also kind of known.
Okay.
And so he starts calling out Killshot, saying that you betrayed us and you left us for dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So not only did somebody actually survive, but he actually kind of seems to have known what's going on a little bit. So every time that Killshot has a match, he's trying to do anything, this guy keeps coming out, he's calling him out, he's attacking him sometimes. There's this brewing tension going on for quite a while. And as I mentioned also, Jeremiah Crane comes into this whole situation as well. Jeremiah Crane, his new boyfriend Evilise is this grungy dude, but he's got this fixation with Katrina. And so he's kind of lurking around. We're not exactly sure what that infatuation is about. But there's another unlikely alliance that forms in this season, because if you remember at the end of season 2, Prince Puma challenged Rey Mysterio. It was the Prince versus the King kind of thing. Prince Puma was our hometown boy.
I remember him, but I don't remember this particular.
You don't? You remember he was starting to get angsty and upset, and he was starting to dress in black instead of the yellow, and then he fought Rey Mysterio and he lost. Yeah. Clearly,
I don't care about the main characters of this show.
Wow.
I don't remember that at all, but okay.
Okay, so that happened at the end of season 2. So at the beginning of this season, Prince Puma was feeling pretty bummed because, also his track record for Ultima Lucha is not good. Season 1, he lost to Mil Muertes and lost the Lucha Underground Championship.
Oh, I remember that, okay.
Season 2, he challenged Rey, which was a big deal, and he lost there. And actually, both of those matches were the main events of Ultima Lucha, so he lost twice in the main event.
So, his self-esteem's gotta be pretty bad at this point.
His self-esteem is down in the toilet, though. Another person who's also a little bit down in the dumps kind of finds him in the sewers is Vampiro. You remember Vampiro is the Dark Master of Pentagon? The one
was he the announcer guy?
Yes, he's also one of the commentators.
Disguise. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So at the end of season 2, he was trying to coach Pentagon after he rebuilt him, and Pentagon challenged for the title but lost, and then turned on his master. So, having been turned on, he is looking for a new student. And someone desperate enough to listen to him is poor Prince Puma.
Oh.
Who starts hearing Vampiro whispering to him and telling him about how, your life has gotten all off track, and, look at what's happened to you. Ever since you lost the Lucha Underground Championship, your life has just been shit. He had that brief little title reign with the Trios Championships, but that was only a week or two until that imploded. And then he fought Rey and he lost. He's like, look at what your life, dude. So then he's like, you know what? You're right. This is bullshit. He's like, you know what you need to do? What? you need to go kill Mil Muertes.
Ooh.
So he's like, you're right. Because it all went wrong after he beat me. So I need to go beat him. And after I do that, then everything will be right again. Oh. So he is just like on a warpath going after Mil Muertes. So a couple other things to get introduced into the scene. Really big element that seems to kind of come out of nowhere. Before, when we had mentioned that Dario has some sort of association with like some other people, like business-wise, there's like someone like in this bigger conspiracy going on as far as like he's in like a mob or something. Like,
yeah, I think I remember that.
Like Lucha Underground Temple is not just the temple; it's also an underground fighting ring. It's also where like ancient Aztec shit's going on. It's also where like a giant conspiracy is happening. Like there's all these layers to it, and he's got people that he answers to apparently.
Okay.
It's very vague. We start to get a little bit more in this season because they give him something to sort of, I guess, direct how the temple's going, because it seems like Dario's starting to lose control a little bit. So to gain a little bit more control, he dangles a big old prize over in front of two of the fighters. There's Cage, who's like the, I'm not a man, I'm a machine, the Swolverine dude. And then Tejano, who's like the Texan. He's like this, he's been around for a little while. He's had a couple feuds, but he's not really done a whole lot yet. And he gives them a unique opportunity. If you remember those kind of being a big staple of Dario Cueto's arsenal. They have a best out of 5 match. So first person to get 3 victories out of 5 matches. Cage wins, and then he's given the Gauntlet of the Gods. And so it's just like this big metallic gauntlet thing he puts on. And so he eventually kind of figures out that it has like some sort of crazy powers. Like in the lore, basically the idea is the gauntlet is powerful enough to kill a god.
Whoa.
And it's pretty much one of the only things that can do that.
And Dario just had this like sitting around somewhere?
Well, like I was telling you, the bosses that he has gave it to him. And then he's using that as like a new tool inside the temple.
Okay.
So he gives it to Cage, and so Cage figures out, because like he's got it on, that he kind of like has a little bit of a Hulk sequence.
Ooh.
Where he's like starting to lose a little bit more control over his emotions and whatnot, and like some just random guy on the street makes him angry, and he's got the gauntlet on, and then he's like, boom! And just like punches through the guy's head. The head just explodes. Like he just blows up a guy's head. So the Gauntlet of the Gods is not to be fucked with.
Oh, clearly.
No, especially in the hands of Cage, who is already a machine. So he's got this really dangerous weapon that's a god killer. Because we've already sort of mentioned that like a couple of these people are like descendants of ancient Aztec tribes.
Yeah.
And the connotation is starting to be that like some of them kind of are gods.
Wait. Some of the wrestlers are like incarnations of gods?
Yes.
Okay.
Sort of like the way that I would think of it is the connotation seems to be whoever is like the inheritor of each one of the Aztec tribes, like whoever's like the main recipient of that like tribe's power is a god in a way. So the most clear example that we get a little bit more examples with in this season, and it's actually very clearly stated, is that Matanza is a god.
What tribe is he with?
He's like the Cueto tribe or the Death tribe. That was sort of unclear. But it is stated that he definitely is a god, where he has the power of a god trapped inside of his body. Okay. So like when he was a boy, that whole thing happened. He's got the power of like this evil, killing death god inside of him. Okay. But so the Gauntlet of the Gods might be like one of the only things that can maybe counter that kind of power. Would be the idea. So Puma, at the bequest of Vampiro, being convinced he needs to go kill Mil Muertes, goes after him real hard. But not quite hard enough. And Mil Muertes kills Prince Puma.
Oh, dang.
Main character, dead. On our show. And then we go shortly after that into Aztec Warfare 3. So at this time, Matanza is still the champion. The monster. And also a god.
The machine guy?
No. Matanza is the monster.
Oh gosh. Okay, right.
Cage is the monster.
Oh my...
Wow. Cage is the machine.
Oh
sorry.
My God.
Yeah, Cage is the machine. But Matanza used to live in a cell, which is a cage.
I can't.
It's very confusing. But yeah, so Matanza Cueto the monster, who is also a god, is the champion going to Aztec Warfare 3. And this is where he won the title last year, was in Aztec Warfare 2, which is when he debuted. he came in as the 21st participant, but Dario was just like, hey, guess what? I'm changing the rules.
And now here's this guy. Okay.
Right. So, Aztec Warfare 3, very similar sort of thing is happening. Matanza is clearing a lot of the field. It's very dangerous because Matanza, nobody can touch him. The Dial of Doom has been going on for weeks now. He's been taking out luchadors left and right. But who should finally, after a giant combo attack, I shit you not, half of the people in this fight all gang up on Matanza finally, hit all their finishing moves, and then Rey Mysterio, the king, pins Matanza Cueto. The first time anybody has pinned Matanza in the temple. He's out of the match. He is not the champion. A new champion will be crowned. So there's still a bunch of other people in this match. They're all fighting. Eventually it gets down to 2 people. It gets down to Sexy Star, and it gets down to Mil Muertes. Now you might be asking yourself, well, Sexy Star is already the Gift of the Gods champion, right? Back from season 2? Mm-hmm. What's she been doing this whole time? Well, she wanted to cash in that title pretty quickly, but there was a real dickhead guy who got in her way named Johnny Mundo, who, with his group, the Worldwide Underground, cheated, had every single thing put in their favor. They, blindsided her behind the ref's back, and before this match, he actually took the Gift of the Gods title from her. Oh. So going into Aztec Warfare 3, Johnny Mundo is the Gift of the Gods champion, and Sexy Star is not. Now, at this point, she's coming back, all right, I lost that title, but maybe I can win it in the big, giant Royal Rumble style fight. Yeah. And it comes down to it's her and Mil Muertes. It's and this guy just killed Puma. He's not to be fucked with. But through a fucking miracle, Sexy Star beats Mil Muertes and becomes the Lucha Underground champion. Woo! The first ever female, and actually still at this point, still only female, Lucha Underground champion of all time.
You go, Sexy.
Now, she's got the title, but it's a really short-lived affair. Because old dickhead's gonna come crashing the party for a second time because, Johnny Mundo got the Gift of the Gods title, and what does that enable him to do? To cash it in. Yeah. So that he comes in, does the same sort of tricks. He's got 4 people on his side. They overpower Sexy Star. He takes the Lucha Underground Championship. Welcome to Slamtown. Which is basically what Johnny Mundo calls the title. He calls the temple. He's got the new music. He's got a whole new swagger because now he's finally the champion. All of these years of grinding and being unvalidated, now finally he's the champion. And he just had to, cheat and use 4 people on his side and, every little trick in the book, but finally he's the champion. So he's really excited. Now, another weird little element that gets added into the whole equation coming into Aztec Warfare 3 is another tribe, the Rabbit Tribe. So at this point, I think we've seen a representative of every single tribe with the addition of the Rabbit Tribe, and they are very different from a lot of the other ones. Led by Paul London, who is an ex-WWE guy. He was a tag team specialist. But he comes out and he's got kind of this Mad Hatter gimmick, where he's got a hat on, he's got some psychedelics going on, he's sort of just tripping out, and he's got 2 dudes that come with him. One of them's jumping around like a bunny, and one of them's got just this sort of full body suit, but it's weird visual art stuff.
Oh, okay, so nobody's dressed up like an Easter bunny or anything?
No.
Okay, good, because that might be a little too much, even with time-traveling spacemen.
No, but yeah, we've got the Rabbit Tribe, and they're all just tripping balls, just real weird, crazy people. They just don't even know what's going on. Half the time when they're in matches, they don't even know to pin people. They don't even know to hit people with moves. They're trying to hug them. It's some real wackadoo shit. But then we get to see a little bit more in later seasons, actually in the next season, that there's a little bit more of a dark side to the Rabbit Tribe. But for this season, they come in and they're just kind of these happy, weird, psychedelic, weird. They don't even care about winning the matches then when they're in them. They're just having a good time.
So then what are they there for?
Well, Paul London is he keeps carting them out there to try and win matches. He wants to be let's go out there, let's have a match, let's win, let's have a good time. But he just gets more caught up in having a good time, and therefore they lose. And so he's just aw, shit, we lost. like, even when he read it, like, that's even the times that he really registers that they've lost. Because half the times it's like, oh, whatever, I don't know, did we lose the match? Like, it's real weird. But once we get into season 4, that makes a little bit more sense. This is a long-term storyline, but I needed to address that they come in before we talk about them later.
Okay.
So, welcome to Slamtown. Mundo's the champion. Yeah, it's a great time. But Dario's in like, all right, well, we got to crown a new contender, you know? We got to find somebody to fight you. So he starts a tournament called the Battle of the Bulls, which is just sort of like a lot of the top wrestlers sort of go into a short little mini tournament. And actually, a new and exciting challenger's crowned, the Mac, who back in season 2, he was like friends with Sexy Star. He didn't really do a whole lot other than that up until this point. This is sort of like his big breaking out moment. So he has a big match against Johnny Mundo. It's the second all-night long match, which is sort of like the Iron Man is like literally just the entire episode is one match. And it's however many pinfalls you can get within that time.
Whew, that sounds exhausting.
It's crazy. And so the Mac is just going at Johnny Mundo. Like, he's just doing everything possible to beat this guy. And then Johnny Mundo goes to a whole nother fucking level of like faking an injury to like kill a lot of time, and then also get like an upper hand. He gets to rest for a little while, and then he gets an opportunity to like get back on the Mac. Like, he cheats in every way imaginable. It's insane. Like, even to the point where they had the refs like run around and do like throwing up the X's, which is like really breaking kayfabe of like, oh, there's a real injury, and then he's like, oh, like, I'm sorry, I can't go on. Oh, oh, it's so good. So he retains the title just through absolute chicanery against the Mac. Now, the reptile tribe has been starting to grow a little bit at this point. Cobra Moon is the queen of the reptiles, we kind of find out. So
Cobra Moon.
She came in a little bit last season. She was a mini rival of Sexy Star when she was starting to fight Marty the Moth.
Yeah. And
whatnot, but she was kind of like the secondary villain and all that. But now she's starting to come a little bit more into her own. And she's got a whole team of dudes. She's got what's... A lot of the fans call this one guy the Luchasaurus. Because he's basically just a giant, like, lizard man. And he's very tall and awkward looking. He just looks real goofy. I think his name of actor was, like, Pindar or something like that. But yeah, so she's got this, like...
Luchasaurus.
Yeah, the Luchasaurus. It's like, actually, it's very akin to, like, do you remember Reptar from Rugrats?
Yes.
Like, it's kind of like a Reptar.
Oh,
but like
dear.
a wrestler, like a guy. Like, he actually had a just straight up like lizard man mask.
Oh,
stuff.
that's
Like,
so bad. Okay.
It did not look great. But you've got the reptile tribe, so she's got this horde of goons now. But she's like, you know what? I really got to get a little bit more into my tribe. Like, I just need a little bit more. So she goes after 2 more people that are really important. One, basically to satisfy her pussy. She goes after this dude named Daga. A little bit of this happened in last season. I think it kind of culminates in this season. This dude who, like, he's just kind of like a athletic, young, attractive guy. And she just straight up, like, seduces him, helps him win matches, and eventually he becomes, like, part of her tribe and is, like, her king.
Ooh,
but, like,
all right.
But in a way that, like, the queen is kind of above the king, it seems like. So he's definitely so subservient to her, but she's just like, you're my mate, and, like, you're my thing. But, like, he has no choice about it. So then the other person that she recruits is actually somebody who apparently, according to the lore of what she says, used to serve the reptile tribe long ago. Drago. If you remember him, the, like, dragon man.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Dragons, lizards. Okay.
Yep. So back in the end of season 2, the Lucha Friends kind of, like, second group, there was a Drago, Aerostar, who was the time-traveling spaceman, and Phoenix. They were the ones that won the Trios Championships. So going into season 3, they're the Trios champions. And so Cobra Moon's kind of culmination is she's like, you know what? I want those Trios championships, but I also want Drago back. Because, you know, apparently Drago used to serve them a long, long time ago. But it seems like it was very much against his will. And so she uses some like crazy reptile magic, whatever she used to seduce Daga and all that.
Ooh.
And then she's able to gain psychic control over Drago and get him to turn back onto their side. So that he unwillingly betrays his friends, costing them the Trios Championships, and then the Reptile Tribe has the titles. And they also have Drago now. He's like brainwashed into serving them. So Aerostar, the time-traveling spaceman, is like, trying to like, well shit, like I gotta try and save my friend. So he's like gonna be for a while like busy with that quest of trying to like save Drago from the reptile tribe. But Phoenix is gonna get caught up back in some other business because Marty the Moth, after getting beat up by Killshot, eventually he's gonna come back and he's gonna be even nastier than before. He's like not fucking around anymore with stalking Melissa. He is 100% like, I'm gonna like rape this bitch or something.
Oh shit.
And he realizes too that the problem obviously is that she's in love with Phoenix. So I need to kill Phoenix. And then if I do that, then maybe she'll love me because she'll see that like I'm strong or something. Like the logic starts to fall apart if you actually start to think about it, but like he puts together the piece that he needs to kill Phoenix. I
mean, it's standard like stalker guy logic, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, right. Like he's the obstacle getting in the way of our love or something. Like, because he's kind of convinced that she loves him for some reason. Like I don't know, she like didn't tell him to go away one time. So then
she loves
it's like,
him.
oh, like she's okay with my presence now. Like it was one of those kind of situations. Like he's latching onto anything because he's a creep. So he starts going real hardcore, and he eventually, in one match, he sneaks in like a lunchbox full of like knives and forks and shit like that.
Goodness.
And so he grabs Phoenix and like even like through the mask and stuff like that, starts like stabbing him like in the head with like forks and like, just like making him bleed all over the ring, like real nasty shit. And eventually to the point where it's like, I'm not gonna stop until Melissa, you beg me to stop, kind of thing.
Oh shit. Okay.
So then eventually she kind of like has to give in to him a little bit, like begs him to stop, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the other person sort of steps into the situation. It's a little bit of a surprise, obviously, is Mariposa. So she's getting a little bit jealous, kind of the attention that Marty is giving to Melissa, even if she won't admit it, that's why. But she's getting mad that he's like getting so distracted with this.
Yeah.
That's what she like says on the surface levels, that like, I'm getting mad because like you keep losing matches because you're distracted by trying to get with her. And really she's also kind of like, give me the attention that you're supposed to be giving me, remember?
Yeah.
So she eventually sort of is like badgering him to the point where then he also then turns on her.
Oh.
And says like, look, like you're getting in the way of me being with her. So then he like beats up Mariposa and like takes her out for a while. So that's like, he's going real hardcore for her.
Oh goodness. Okay.
So that's going on. We have the announcement of the Cueto Cup. So Daria, after having the Battle of the Bulls, and the Mac was the big contender for Johnny Mundo, but being unsuccessful in taking the title, we got to find some new contenders and some new stuff because Ultima Lucha is starting to come up somewhat soon. And so he announces the Cueto Cup, which is like a really big tournament, and the winner of that will challenge for the Ultima Lucha championship at Ultima Lucha Trace.
Okay.
And then at the same time, at the same like date when the finals of that are going to happen, Mundo is going to defend the title against Rey Mysterio, who is like the king, the guy who finally pinned Matanza. Big deal. So the Cueto Cup is a huge tournament, has like everybody in it. A really important piece that comes back into this is that Prince Puma returns. And he returns not in the black and red that he was wearing.
Wait, didn't he die?
Yes.
But he wasn't dead. He just was dead.
He just was dead. So he wasn't dead. He was just dead. He was just mostly dead. Still a little bit alive. So when he died back early in the season, he still had like the black and red. He had the angsty colors on. When he comes back, he's got the yellow on. He's got the yellow and black. So he's old Puma.
Back to his old self.
Back to the old colors. So in the Cueto Cup, it comes down to the final four. It is Mil Muertes versus Pentagon Jr., and then it is Prince Puma versus Phoenix.
Wait. If Prince Puma and Phoenix are fighting, isn't that two of your like goody two-shoes guys?
Yeah. Fighting
each other?
That happens sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And they're just trying to win a tournament. It's not like they're trying to kill each other or something.
Okay.
So Puma wins and Pentagon wins. The finals is Puma versus Pentagon. And so this is, the rivalry that's been always brewing in the background. They're kind of like the two top dogs in a lot of ways in Lucha Underground. Back in season 2 when they had this match, Puma beat Pentagon. And then now this second time around here in the Cueto Cup Finals, Puma beats him again. Puma goes on to beat Pentagon Jr. and secures himself the spot to challenge whoever the champion is going to be in the main event of Ultimate Lucha Trace, gaining himself the ultimate opportunity for redemption. Because remember, at the beginning of the season, he was at the lowest of lows. Convinced, like, just you have to go after Mil Muertes. Like, that's you have to do that, otherwise your life is off track. And then he goes back to his old ways, wins the Cueto Cup, and he's like, all right, like I got my match, I got my chance of redemption.
I got my second win, baby.
Exactly, got my second win, baby. So, going back over to another realm of Lucha Underground for a little bit. Jeremiah Crane, after his breakup here with Ivelisse, because quickly after him getting obsessed with, Katrina, Jesus Christ. After getting obsessed with Katrina, very quickly Ivelisse is just like, I'm done with you, like, fuck this, and he's just like, alright, whatever. So he's going after her, and eventually she kind of succumbs and says like, alright, look, fine. If you really want to prove your affection to me, and she admits and starts to tell us that there's a little bit of a history that apparently Jeremiah Crane used to have a thing with Katrina a long time ago. Maybe the implication is that he used to have been alive and dead before. Maybe she brought him back to life.
So is like another reincarnation story?
Kind of.
Okay.
So he is trying to, win her affection. She's like, all right, if you want to prove your love to me, then go steal the Gauntlet of the Gods.
Wait, and the monster guy still has that.
The machine.
Oh,
Cage.
Shit. Okay.
The Swolverine. Yep. Has that. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, Crane is given that task of like, all right, well, if you want to, win my love, you've got to go steal the Gauntlet of the Gods. So then, like, he starts brewing some more trouble between Mil Muertes and Cage. So then he has an opportunity while they're fighting, and he just snags the gauntlet and kind of runs away.
Oh, like he doesn't even fight for it.
No, because he knows he can't beat Cage. What? He just said he has to get the gauntlet.
What a prat. Okay.
So let me also explain to you from a size perspective. Cage is really huge. Like, he's, from an actual height perspective, he might only be like 6 foot something, but like, he's jacked as fuck. Mil Muertes also very similar size. Jeremiah Crane is like maybe 5'6" or something. He's a little dude. He's got no chance against these big ass motherfuckers, and he knows it. So,
but Rey Mysterio's tiny, isn't he?
Yeah, he's even smaller than Jeremiah Crane. But he's got the heart of the king. Like, he's the different characters. Jeremiah Crane is a sneaky little fuck. So he goes and steals the Gauntlet of the Gods. So we also get, you remember Son of Havoc, the biker guy?
Yes.
So we get a little blast from his past. All of a sudden, kind of just like out of nowhere, we get the arrival of a new character called Son of Madness, who is another biker guy who's basically just a taller, a little bit leaner version of Son of Havoc, who just attacks him out of nowhere and then starts saying that he's like betrayed the biker gangs and betrayed their biker culture.
Oh shit.
So he has to like beat him up to the point where...
He betrayed his colors.
Exactly, he betrayed his colors, so then he has to beat him to the point where then he eventually is trying to steal his vest. And so that's just a whole fucking thing for a little while, until eventually, Son of Havoc is able to beat this guy off and send him off to the road, but like, he's a real pain in the ass for quite a while, trying to come after him. So then after that, do you remember... We were talking about back in season 2, there was a new guy that came into the temple. His name was Joey Ryan. He's sort of like the 70s, sort of like porno cop guy, and he's undercover.
No, I don't remember this guy.
And then he is undercover with one of the guys that was part of the crew. He was like one of Dario's like goons. And so they're working with the police, sort of like tracking Dario's activities and stuff like that.
So, okay, wait, so he's an undercover guy.
Yeah, he's an undercover cop.
Okay.
Yeah, so these two are working together as undercover cops, and like at the end of last season, Dario did that whole thing of like, oh, well, if you're coming after me, then like go ahead. What do you want me for murder? And then he like murdered the guy that was like there wearing the wire.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So, like the investigation is beginning like really starting to be like, oh shit, like we've got a lot of info in Dario now, especially with like the Gauntlet of the Gods thing coming in now, and like dude's head's getting exploded. Like more and more evidence is mounting up like against Dario in the temple, but. There's a big old wrench that gets thrown into the monkey works because Joey Ryan sells out. He straight up tells Dario, he's like, hey, I'm an undercover cop. And Cortez, he is too. And he's like, oh, okay, very interesting. tell me more. So he just tells him straight up everything. So Dario knows what's going on. And then he sets up a whole scenario where, because like the other guy that's undercover, he's been working lately under like a mask gimmick.
Uh-huh.
And so then he sets up a match with Sexy Star. He's like, you know what? I know what to do. I had Sexy Star win a mask versus mask match back in season 1. I'll do that again and expose this motherfucker. So Dario puts together this match where he's like Sexy Star in a mask versus mask against this guy Veneno, who is like a spider or something.
Okay.
So he gets unmasked, and then he's Cortez Castro, who is like the guy who's the undercover cop.
Uh-huh.
And then Dario's like, I see, like, you betray me. Like, does this whole big theatrical whatever sort of thing. And then Cortez Castro gets like taken away, like he's, you know, bad things are gonna happen to him probably.
So what does Joey Ryan get out of it?
Joey Ryan's in with Dario Cueto now. Like he's on his payroll. Like he's set.
Oh, so he doesn't get like a title shot or anything. He's just got this like cushy position.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. What he's always wanted. He's just wanted an easy life, a nice paycheck, not to fight anybody. Like he's just hanging out. He's good now.
Uh-huh.
So Joey Ryan sells out. But not all is peachy within the Cueto camp, because his little brother, Matanza, after losing to Rey Mysterio and losing the title, is really pissed.
Ooh.
Really pissed. Like, Dario also wants him to get revenge against Rey Mysterio and all that, because like that also brought shame to him, like as part of the Cueto family.
Yeah.
But like Matanza is uncontrolled, and Dario is trying to do everything he can to try and keep Matanza in check. Because Matanza's useful when he's controlled, but when he's uncontrollable, he's like, he's not useful for anybody. You can't even use him to beat people because he's just a wild monster.
He just attacks everybody. Okay.
Exactly. So he's trying to maintain control over Matanza. But Matanza ends up doing a couple of real rebellious things against him. He ends up first going after Rey Mysterio's apprentice, El Dragon Azteca Jr., who is the guy he brought in last season, sort of like his his number 2 as apprentice.
I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah, El Dragon Azteca is the guy who, back in season 1, they had murdered, and then Black Lotus is the one that murdered him, because Dario Cueto had convinced her that he had murdered her parents. And so it's a whole fucking fiasco.
Yeah, I remember that whole thing.
Yeah, so he goes after El Dragon Azteca, beats the shit out of him, and then so Rey Mysterio is finally like, alright, well, like, fine, I'll fight you, like, if you're just gonna be this way. But, first, of course, he's got the finals with Mundo. So, at the same time that Puma got the Cueto Cup championship, like, he won that, and he's gonna be set to face Mundo, or face the champion. Mundo faces Mysterio for the title. It's a big match, big deal. Like, Mundo starts pulling out all sorts of other underhand tactics, like going after Mysterio's son, like his real life son.
Whoa.
Like saying real shitty things to him, like kind of smacking him around, like at the arena, questioning his parentage.
Oh, that's not okay.
Some real like love life shit. We go into the match, and at the end of it, it seems like Mysterio might win it, but Dario Cueto screws him over. And then Matanza comes out and really just like lays out Rey Mysterio. So Mundo's able to keep the championship through some more shenanigans, but he's going to be set to face Puma in the main event of Ultima Lucha Tres, which, if you remember, that was the very first match in the first main event of Lucha Underground. It's Puma versus Mundo. So it's going to be.
I feel like that's kind of like the theme of this season.
Yeah,
it's a lot of like revisiting these old grudges and old matches, and
this is really like the most well laid out season as far as like them finally calling back to things that they'd set up.
Yeah.
Like I really think this is the season they had in mind when they first laid out a lot of the stories for the culmination points. Anyway. So, Matanza's going nuts because he just needs to kill Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
He just can't handle the loss.
Can't handle being beat.
Can't handle it. So then they also have a match set up between just them after him costing him the match against Mundo. And then Matanza beats Rey Mysterio and kidnaps him.
What?
Like just takes him, puts him into the dungeon that he was living in. So that now Rey Mysterio is like in captivity.
Oh, poor Rey.
Yeah, he's being held by the Cuetos. Our biggest, greatest hope is taken out for the time being.
Oh.
And so then now Puma, having beaten the Cueto Cup, he's like, you know what? I do still really have one big person I need to beat before I can go challenge for that championship, and I know that I'll win. And he needs to go beat Mil Muertes. So he has another match against Mil Muertes. And this time, in the big street fight, he's able to beat him. And part of how he does it is he ends up tasing him in the nuts. He straight up uses a taser.
That's not a good guy move.
But it's a street fight. Like, they're smacking each other with chairs, trash cans, they're jumping off the shit, they're throwing each other through tables. Like, Mil Muertes is smacking him with weapons. So he tases him in the nuts. So he tases him in the nuts to get the victory. Our hometown boys going into Ultima Lucha Tres with the big victory that he needs. So Ultima Lucha Tres, we've got the new Gift of the Gods Championship, because at this point, Mundo had used it, and they had to crown a new person. It ends up being a kind of last-second ladder match between Son of Havoc and Pentagon Jr.
That seems like a really odd matchup, but alright.
They're just kind of like the two other big dudes that didn't have anything going on at the time,
okay.
So they throw them into it.
Alright.
Also, as far as Pentagon Jr., he was out for a little while in this midseason. I should mention, I totally forgot to mention, back in Aztec Warfare 3, Black Lotus, the ninja bitch. So at Ultima Lucha Dos, Pentagon Jr. had broken her arm. And Azteca's arm because he was getting impatient and wanted to fight Matanza. So at Aztec Warfare 3, her and the whole Black Lotus triad, which is like a ninja tribe, they come and they attack Pentagon and break his arm in Aztec Warfare 3. So he's out for a little while. Eventually he comes back and then he kind of beats them up. They're taken out for the most part. So he comes back and he's going to be fighting Son of Havoc. He beats Son of Havoc for the Gift of the Gods Championship. So then Pentagon is set up to eventually become probably the next champion later on. We've got really other important matches are the Gauntlet of the Gods is going to be contested in a 3-way because Jeremiah Crane's got it, but Cage wants it back and Mil Muertes also wants it.
Okay.
So they're all fighting for it. They go, and it's just like a crazy bloodbath. Eventually, Mil Muertes stands tall over the other guys. He's got the gauntlet. But then, another person comes back and smacks him over the head from behind and takes the gauntlet. It's King Cuerno, the Hunter, who back in Ultima Lucha Dos, Mil Muertes had killed. But now he's back. Bam! And takes the gauntlet.
Oh, shit.
And then he's gone. So King Cuerno comes back with a vengeance, and he's got the god-killing weapon. So the Hunter has the god-killer.
He has the ultimate weapon.
Exactly. He's got some crazy shit going on. The Trios Championships, the Reptiles end up defending it against a kind of a thrown-together last-minute team also of the Mac. And then Killshot and Dante Fox, who are total rivals at this point. There was the soldier he left behind sort of thing. They end up having a crazy-ass individual match. Just Killshot and AR Fox, just those two. And afterwards, they get thrown into this trios match together to work as a team alongside the Mac against the Reptiles. And they win. This one's kind of a thrown together weird... I think they just wanted to have a giant pop for the crowd.
Yeah.
So they put together a babyface team to beat some heels. Because from a context of story, this makes no goddamn sense.
Well, I mean, it kind of does, because you said Dario likes to put people together who don't get along and force them to fight on a team.
True. But still in the context, it was really, really crazy and out of nowhere. I don't know.
It was a little stretched.
Anyway.
Okay.
So they kind of do that, and you get to see that there's a little bit more of a connection between these two, Killshot and AR Fox, because when they're fighting each other, obviously they've got a lot of history, but then when they're working together, they've also got a lot of chemistry. So there's that kind of going on as well.
Yeah.
In this match. So they're trios champions together with the Mac, kind of randomly, but that's the situation.
Okay.
We've also got Phoenix versus Marty the Moth as sort of a grudge match ending their rivalry because he's been stalking Melissa, he's been doing all this crazy shit, and it's a hair versus mask match.
A what?
Hair versus mask. So if Phoenix loses, he loses his mask. If Marty loses, he gets his head shaved.
Scalped, but not really.
Not head cut off, but so he puts him down with a pair of clippers and shaves his head.
So stupid.
It's a long-lasting wrestling tradition. It is definitely stupid, but it's a because it's you have long-lasting stakes in that match. All of a sudden, if your hair's gone, You know, now you gotta go through...
Whatever. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Would you want to put your hair on the line in a match?
No.
Exactly.
And it would grow back. Like, to me, that's different than a mask match. That's like, this is my identity. Like, I'm literally losing my identity.
But your image is really important to your wrestling persona. What if your hair is, like, really iconic to it? Like, you know, Hulk Hogan's got, like, the really bad hair, but it's iconic. And if he gets shaved, then it's like, oh, you don't have the, like, nasty, silky, blonde hair?
Whatever.
Like,
alright,
yeah.
So
anyway.
hair versus mask.
Hair versus mask. In Ultimate Humiliation, Phoenix is able to beat Marty the Moth, put him out of commission, like, you know, stop fucking with me and my girlfriend sort of thing.
Get your hands off my woman!
Then when afterwards, he's like trying to run away, he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you shave my head kind of thing. And then Mariposa is standing up there, you know, his sister that he had betrayed and fucked over, and then she just like tosses him back down the ramp. He's like, fuck you, you're getting yours. So then, you know, he gets cuffed up and they shave his head and stuff like that.
Oh, shit.
Yep. And then we have another really important sort of turn of events because, so Ivelisse, at the very beginning of this season, challenged Katrina to a match at Ultima Lucha Tres. Like, straight up, episode 1, she does this. Because she says, like, at Ultima Lucha 1 and 2, you have screwed me over. Which is true. Katrina has screwed her over at both of those events. So she's like, I want to fight you, bitch. So they fight at Ultima Lucha Tres, 1-on-1. This is Ivelisse, like the Puerto Rican badass girl, and this is Katrina, the undead priestess.
Has Katrina ever fought before?
Not in a match. This is her first match in the Ultima Lucha, or in Lucha Underground. But like in some backstage segments, like she's fought some people a little bit. Like,
so is this some like girly slap shit? Stupid.
So Ivelisse is starting to get the upper hand on Katrina because like Katrina's powers are somehow lessened in the ring and stuff like that. To some extent, Ivelisse is starting to get the upper hand. It looks like she's finally going to get some revenge on this bitch after years of, you know, getting screwed over, her friends getting, you know, screwed out of the trios titles. But then Jeremiah Crane shows up because he's in love with Katrina, and he shows up with a hammer, and he fucking just lays into Ivelisse's legs, just like breaks her knees, like just crushes her legs so that Katrina can get the win. It just fucks her over like an absolute asshole. Yep. And actually, I should mention that match actually happened before the match with Mil Muertes, because in the match where he fought Mil Muertes, there in the Ultima Lucha, Crane dies.
Wait, like dead or dead?
Dead, because you will see what happens to him next season.
Okay.
But he's pretty dead.
But he's dead.
He's like 99% dead. he's even more dead than Puma was.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, he's quite dead at the end of this. So we go into the main event. We've got Prince Puma versus Johnny Mundo for the Lucha Underground Championship.
Squeaky clean versus cheating jerk.
Versus the cheating fucking asshole. And this is the reflection of the first main event of the first episode, where Mundo beat Puma back then, and he still had the guidance of Conan. This was back when he was Yellow Puma. He was on top of the world. Puma beats Mundo and gets the title.
Well, yay!
First ever 2-time Lucha Underground champion. He finally has defeated because like he's kind of beaten Mundo before, but this is really like the final, like he's redeemed himself.
This is the definitive win. Okay.
But hold on. Dario's changed the rules again. Because normally, the Gift of the Gods champion has to wait a week because Dario wants to promote the match. But Dario being Dario has decided to let Pentagon Jr. cash in against Prince Puma. And part of the stipulation of this whole event, for a mysterious reason, which in reality just has to do with Prince Puma's contract, Prince Puma put his career on the line, which said that if he is not champion at the end of the night, then he has to retire. So Pentagon Jr. comes out, takes advantage of him having had this match with Mundo, beats him for the title. Pentagon Jr. is the champion now. Vampiro comes out and shows that he was kind of in some sort of secret alliance with Pentagon all along. A little bit mysterious. But now Puma's not the champion, and per the strange rules of his stipulation, Puma is cast out of the temple. And Puma is gone. And now, the guy that used to play Puma, also known as Ricochet out on the Independents, is over in NXT, so Puma's definitely gone. Unless they're going to put someone else under the mask, which I don't think they're going to do, Puma's gone. But he's not dead. He had to leave the temple because he lost. Yep. And he honored the stipulation and he leaves. Right after winning the title for the second time, he loses it and then he's banished forever. Now,
that's some tough shit.
The people who are dealing with Dario back behind the scenes, stuff starts to get a little bit more hairy. And someone goes to pay Dario a visit. He's seeming like very happy, like, I finally cast out Puma. I've got the temple under control and all sorts of shit like that. Things are going to be better. Ray's in a cage, all that sort of shit. Because then Matanza at this event, he further beats up Dragon Azteca. And Black Lotus turns on them and is finally on the good guy's side trying to help, but it's still not enough. Matanza's just wrecking shop on all those people. So Dario's feeling good. And this guy comes in and then all of a sudden just pulls out a gun and shoots Dario dead.
What?
Dario Cueto dies in his office. Just bleeds out in his chair.
Oh.
And that's how we end season 3.
What? What a cliffhanger.
I know. Holy shit, who killed Dario and why?
And then what's going to happen to the temple now without the guy pulling all the strings?
It's going to happen now. Pentagon Jr.'s the champion. It's insanity.
Oh.
Guess you'll just have to wait and find out at season 4. Because as of recording, Ultima Lucha 4, or Ultima Lucha Quattro, is currently still airing on TV. So I actually still don't fully know what happens next. But we will still be finding out, and then once that's done, then I can tell you all about it.
Oh.
And tell all of you all about it.
Oh, shit. That's gonna wait a while.